Welcome to Fit Strong Women Over 50 podcast, episode 90. Hi, I'm Jill. Thanks for joining us today. This is the podcast for the Becoming Ellie community.
If this is your first time listening, welcome. If you're curious about why we're called Becoming Ellie, it's because Ellie was the Norse goddess of aging. She defeated Thor in a wrestling match, and so we decided we wanted to be like Ellie, fit and strong.
Yes, indeed. You can find out more about us at the Becoming Ellie website. We have lots of great content there.
The website is becomingellie.com, and Ellie is spelled E-L-L-I. Jill, I'm really looking forward to our episode today.
Yeah, I am too. So, Chris, I know you've been just running a crazy schedule lately, and I'm curious how you're doing with your eating.
Well, it's been a challenge for sure, because there's a lot of last minute change of plans and, some travel and things like that. So I'm finding that meal prep is more important than ever for me. Otherwise, I'm off track and, anything goes, and then I'm really stuck.
That's something I struggle with, is the meal prep. So what are you doing to prep food?
Well, I think the most important thing about meal prep is to have a plan when you go to the grocery store, because if I don't come home with the right groceries, it really, it all sort of starts at the grocery store. But I've been doing a lot of frozen vegetables, frozen chicken, and other things that maybe are prepared food, but satisfy a longing that I have. But it's mostly frozen. I'm finding that that's very helpful because I can pull it out of the freezer and then prepare it after I get to where I'm going.
Frozen foods, things that either you freeze yourself or that you buy, is so much easier to keep them for a longer time. So
exactly,
it's great if you're home and you're doing a lot of cooking than buying lots of fresh vegetables and fresh meats and whatever is fine. But boy, when you're just like, I need a meal now, so having something in the freezer is just makes life so much easier.
Or if I know I'm going to be gone for the next 20 hours, okay, what am I going to take? Because usually it's not now. Otherwise, I would just cook it. But,
right.
But because I'm having to leave and travel a little bit and figure things out, I need something I can throw into my cooler that will be satisfying and healthy. And I'm really trying to eat healthy. That's a major goal. That's the whole point of all of this in my mind. So maybe that's some of the things we could talk about today, is substitutions and things, and what I do for meal prep. I'll cut up the vegetables and stuff when I first get home and have those ready, but I'm amazed how quickly they just get eaten.
Oh,
it's because it becomes the go-to.
Yeah. Well, like chopping up your peppers or
exactly
that kind of thing. Then they're there to eat. The other thing I've been doing is sort of trying to figure out ways to take some of the carbs, as in starchy carbs, bread carbs, those kinds of things, not vegetable carbs, out of my diet a bit. So I've been just looking for ways to do that.
That's great.
Like I made spaghetti the other night, and I haven't had spaghetti in so long, but I thought, this sounds great. So I had a box of pasta made from chickpeas, had a lot of protein in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then I used a local spaghetti sauce that I liked because it doesn't have any sugar in it. And then I added ground turkey, onion, pepper, and I chopped up zucchini. Sauteed all that with the meat, put in the sauce, made the chickpea pasta. It was really good.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard of chickpea pasta. We'll have to find out do you remember where you bought it?
I don't remember whether I got it at the grocery store or whether I got it at Trader Joe's. I don't know.
We'll look it up. We'll link in the show notes.
Okay. I just was reading, I haven't tried it yet, but that Trader Joe's now has a heart of palm pasta.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So that would be something to look for.
Yeah, that sounds great. I haven't been up to Trader Joe's for quite a while.
Me either, but they're a good place for that kind of thing.
I've been over to Costco, and my Costco find that I really love when I'm just wanting some comfort food, or, I don't know what you call pizza, which is not something that I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to get away from that kind of thing. But I found a Costco cauliflower pizza that I just really love. It's the veggie version.
Oh, yeah, I have bought that, and it is good.
And I find when I make it, I don't gain weight. It's, unlike most pizza, I can have, I say, quote unquote, half a pizza, but, they're little 12-inch pizza. And we usually add other vegetables to the top of it, and kind of spruce it up.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
And I find that's really delicious and something easy.
I have bought those. And you know what? So that's another thing. You have it in your freezer. And I know one time I had a couple people over for the day and we needed lunch. So I made a salad and I cooked one of those pizzas. So there were 3 of us. So the pizza, no one ate a ton of pizza, but it was good. And it was filling it went well with the salad.
Yeah. It
was a quick and easy meal that everyone enjoyed, but it was also a pretty reasonably healthy meal.
Yeah. Well, I too am trying to get rid of some of those simple carbs and focus more on the complex carbs. And even though it's called cauliflower pizza, it does have a little bit of brown rice in it, as I recall, and some other things. It's not 100% cauliflower, but it doesn't, it's not limp. Like I've tried the Aldi's cauliflower pizza, and I don't know if it's the way it's frozen because it has sort of an arch on the pizza. It's not flat. But when I try that pizza, it's kind of limp and it's not as satisfying as the one from Costco for whatever reason.
Well, you have to try them and see which ones you like. But
exactly.
Probably rice flour in most of the cauliflower things, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I'm trying to pack up and do one of those on-the-go dinners, I end up grabbing some frozen chicken and frozen vegetables. And that's kind of my go-to for an on-the-go dinner, and take that with me. Or if it's lunch, I really have found that I love the crunch of water chestnuts and celery in tuna salad. So I'll get some spring mix and, just make a tuna salad with water chestnuts, onion, celery, and I substitute Greek yogurt for the mayonnaise and mix that all up. And I find that you can't even taste the yogurt.
You don't use any mayonnaise?
I don't. It's because it's white. I don't know. I put a lot of onion in there because I love onion, and that flavor overpowers everything else between the tuna and the onion.
That's about all you're going to taste. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all you taste anyway. And you can't really taste the mayonnaise. I can't anyway, because I've been using so little mayonnaise because I don't really like putting mayonnaise in, so I just switch completely. But it really is a satisfying crunch with the water chestnuts. And you can't taste those either. I mean, they're just kind of bland if you just eat them by itself. But it's kind of a neat way to, make a on-the-go tuna salad.
Right. And then it has some crunch from the celery. You said celery and water chestnuts?
Yes.
You just chop them up and throw them in there?
Yep. Onion, water chestnuts, and celery. And you can't really taste much of the water chestnuts or celery or the Greek yogurt. It's the onions and tuna that I taste. Then I put that on top of a spring mix, and it's a quite satisfying salad.
Oh, that sounds really good.
And it's easy.
Greek yogurt is a good idea.
I like Greek yogurt too for a dessert. Like on one of those, it's been so hot this summer, and sometimes I think about, I'd love a bowl of ice cream. But what I've been doing instead, and I know I've shared this in the past, is, some Greek yogurt with frozen berries. I'll get a bag of those frozen berries, mix that all up, and the yogurt kind of freezes. So it's not really frozen yogurt, but in a way it kind of is.
Right.
And I find that is just so cool and refreshing. I love those. And it's so easy.
So I used to do something like that with my Vitamix, where I would put frozen fruit in the Vitamix and then pour in some almond milk or some sort of liquid and just blend it. And it turned into like a sorbet or like an ice cream. But it's delicious and a really nice cold treat for the summer. And you're right. It is certainly better to be eating that than ice cream, which is always tempting.
Right. I don't want to go that way because it's like you said, you know, the simple carbs and sugar, it just doesn't do anything for me. Whereas berries, you know, are great for you. And the Greek yogurt I really like.
Yeah. And the Greek yogurt has more protein in it. So I've been trying to make sure I get protein because when I look at my blood work results that I've had over the past few years from various doctors, every single time my protein numbers are low. So even though I eat protein, my body's obviously having a hard time getting what it needs from it. So I'm really trying to be conscious of upping my protein.
Yeah. I think I'm trying for 65 grams of protein a day. I think that's the number that I'm shooting for. And one way I've been able to up it a little bit is with quinoa, which is a carb, but it has an amazing amount of protein in it for a carb. And I'll make that with chicken stock. And that'll just be part of my prep for the week. I'll have a whole bunch of quinoa sitting in the fridge, and then I can scoop it out into a little Tupperware thing and have that as a side or mix it in with something, whether it's a salad or vegetables or what have you.
So you can make like a decent pilaf with your quinoa, chop up some onion and peppers and what other vegetables you might have and throw it in there.
Celery.
Then celery would work.
Do you saute it or you just have it with raw vegetables and cooked quinoa?
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm serving it as a warm dish, really as in place of rice pilaf or something, I will saute the vegetables. If I'm eating it more like a salad, then I'll just chop up the vegetables and they don't need to be sauteed or anything. Raw is fine.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. I was thinking one day I went somewhere and ate out and they had a side of quinoa, was one of the choices for your sides. And I thought, I'll order that. And I wasn't sure how they were going to serve it. And I was surprised they had chopped up cranberries and chopped up walnuts, which was kind of yummy. It was,
that sounds good.
Different, I don't think they had any. And quinoa, it was a darker quinoa. It had, I forget what they called it.
Was it warm?
No, it was cold.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
When you were saying cold, that's what made me think of it. Yeah, it was, they must have chopped it all up and then just used like one of those scoopers, like an ice cream scooper. And it was probably only half a cup of quinoa for the serving, but it was kind of an interesting side. And it was just different because, cranberries and walnuts, that's kind of a dessert type flavor. And with the nutty quinoa, it was good.
Well, and the cranberries would add a little tartness.
Yes. Yeah. It was something different.
That'd be good. So what do so you're saying you put your food in your cooler?
Yeah. I have one of those little coolers. I don't know. It's big enough to hold several of the, Tupperwares. And I have a lot of frozen things that are actually from races that you would use, for a sore leg or ice packs. Exactly. I kind of layer the ice packs in there and just bring that with me for an overnighter or what have you. And that works out really well for me.
Totally changing the subject, I guess. But speaking of the Greek yogurt, I've started making deviled eggs.
Oh,
it's just something different to have as a side.
Yeah.
And instead of using the mayonnaise, I have used the Greek yogurt. And I'm going to tell you that I've tried making deviled eggs in the past where you mash them up, and I've tried mashing it up with avocado, and I've tried mashing them up with a variety of things. and they all taste kind of, hummus. I used hummus one time.
Oh, really?
And it was a little weird.
Yeah.
So if you like classic flavor of deviled eggs, the Greek yogurt actually works fine in it.
Yeah,
you get the benefits of the yogurt.
It's not overpowering.
Yeah.
You put mustard and pickle juice?
I still put the mustard. I haven't put pickle juice, but I never did. So put a little mustard.
Well, we used to put relish in it, and then I never seemed to have relish in my refrigerator. So I use a little bit of pickle juice.
Okay, that makes sense. But no, I don't, because I never put relish in mine. But I do sometimes chop up celery really finely and add that.
Yeah.
That adds a little vegetable. And I guess you could chop up onion really finely and put that in there too.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that. But the celery works. It gives it a little crunch.
Yeah. So do you put paprika on the top?
Yeah. Usually, yes. But I try not to go too crazy with paprika, though. Paprika doesn't have a strong flavor unless you buy like the smoked paprika.
I think it's just for looks, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, but I sprinkle some on there. It makes me feel very festive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like one of those things that I only ever had at like family picnics or holidays or whatever. And I thought, this is actually a good way I get tired of just eating this. I just was trying to think of ways to sort of spruce things up a bit.
Yeah.
And I thought deviled eggs, that's good.
And that's something you could do as a meal prep. It doesn't take that much time. And, you could boil up a dozen eggs and have some as hard-boiled eggs. And
yes, exactly. And that's what I do. And I use my Instapot now to make the hard-boiled eggs oftentimes.
Nice. How long do you cook it for?
It's 5, 5, and 5, basically. You put it in the Instapot, set it for 5 minutes. Then you have to, you wait till it comes to pressure, and then it cooks 5 minutes. Then you let it cool, stay at full pressure, for at least 5 minutes, and then release it, and then put it in ice water for another 5 minutes.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, that's a pretty simple recipe.
Yeah, I like that. And the other thing I do for food prep is I try to cook chicken just like in my Instapot. So it's just, there's no flavor to it. It's just chicken.
Yes.
Cooked chicken. And so you wouldn't, to just sit down and eat it is kind of blah.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to add something to it because it's just plain old cooked chicken, but it's so convenient to have some cooked chicken in the refrigerator that I can just chop up and throw on top of a salad, or I could make a chicken salad like what you were talking about with the tuna salad.
Yep. Or make a hot meal with it.
Yeah. I can heat it back up if I've cooled it and add I try to add then some spice or sauce or something to it because otherwise it's just kind of
too bland.
But I find it convenient.
One of my favorite spices for chicken like that is Old Bay.
Oh,
which I know sounds kind of ridiculous because I think of Old Bay as seafood, but it's just such a good spice for me. I don't know. It hits the right taste buds. And when I have the blah chicken like that, which is a great name for it, but it's, it's just meal prep chicken. I can throw some Old Bay in there and all of a sudden it's like, ooh la la, I have something.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And, we were talking about Trader Joe's. I did buy their everything but the bagel spice.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen that?
No. Everything but bagel?
Everything but the bagel. So, have you ever had the bagel, an everything bagel where they put all the, you get garlic and sesame seeds and.
I don't like those because I don't like the garlic. Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I do. You're right.
So this spice is everything that you put on an everything bagel, so it's called everything but the bagel.
Oh, well, that does sound.
It has salt. It has like sea salt, different color sesame seeds. It has some garlic. It's just like a spice mix. I don't know where I was reading, but people were really raving about this spice. So I bought it, and it is very convenient to sprinkle it on things because it is flavorful.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to have to look for that.
Well, if you don't like garlic, you might not like it. I think it has garlic in it.
Yeah, if it does, I just like a little bit of garlic, if at all. If it's heavy, to me, the garlic overpowers everything, but I should still try it because maybe I would like it. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it's that heavy with the garlic because it's just sort of a combo. But that's a fun thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Meal prep. So I'm going to keep in mind making hard-boiled eggs and take a look at some of that spice. That's a neat idea to kind of jazz things up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to guess that some of our listeners probably have some good suggestions for us, and we could certainly use them. If you're listening and you have any good ideas, please feel free to share them with us.
Yeah, it's great to be able to mix things up a little bit. And I especially love the tips that are great for on the go, because it's a way to eat healthy and not, fall off the wagon with the last thing I want to do is go through a drive-through, that I just want to resist that because it becomes a bad situation right away.
Oh, there is no doubt. Even if you think, I'll just get, I don't know, whatever. It's
the salad or something. It just doesn't work out.
That doesn't last long. Once you start, it's like that slippery slope of.
Absolutely. And I'm sure our listeners have experienced some of that too. So yeah, sharing recipes is a great thing. If they want to send us an email or reply in the blog post, or even leave a message on the, if you do a review of the podcast, you can put it in the review as well.
Right. Or you can leave us voicemail, and our number is 330-970-6662.
Or post it on our Facebook group. We have a private Facebook group as well as a public Facebook page, as well as Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. So there's lots of ways to reach out for us.
Oh, that's true. So it'd be great to hear from you. It was great talking with you, Chris. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well despite being so busy and running around.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next episode of the Fit Strong Women Over 50.
Me too. Talk to you then.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.